Imagine building a house with shiny walls but no foundation. It looks perfect, until the first storm hits. That's exactly what happened with Europe's single currency, the euro. When the global financial crisis struck in 2008, the hidden cracks tore open, causing one of the most dangerous financial meltdowns in modern history, the Eurozone debt crisis. The euro was launched in 1999 to unite Europe. No more exchange rates, no currency wars, just one money for all. It sounded brilliant. Easy trade, stronger bargaining power globally, and a symbol of European unity. But here's the catch. Europe had one currency but not one economy. Germany and the Netherlands were disciplined savers with strong industries. Greece, Portugal, and Italy had weaker economies, higher spending, and often relied on debt. Normally, weaker economies devalue their currencies to stay competitive. But under the euro, that option was gone. Everyone was locked into the same exchange rate. With the euro, interest rates dropped sharply for Southern Europe. Suddenly, Greece, Spain, and Italy could borrow money almost as cheaply as Germany. Banks were eager to lend, believing the euro made every country safe. This created two dangerous habits. Governments borrowed too much. Greece spent heavily on public sector jobs, pensions, and even the 2004 Olympics financed by debt. Private sectors borrowed too much. In Spain and Ireland, cheap loans fueled massive housing bubbles. Debt levels soared, but instead of raising alarms, everyone from local politicians to big banks celebrated the boom. Europe had rules like the Maastricht Treaty, which said deficits should stay below 3% of GDP and debt below 60% of GDP. But many countries ignored them, and the EU looked the other way. Some even cheated. Greece, with help from Wall Street banks, used complex financial tricks to hide how bad its deficits really were. By the late 2000s, Europe was sitting on a powder keg of hidden debt. Then came the 2008 global financial crisis. Banks collapsed, economies slowed, and suddenly investors started asking tough questions. Can these countries really pay back what they owe? The spotlight first hit Greece in 2009, when it admitted its budget deficit wasn't 6%, it was actually 12.5% of GDP. Trust evaporated overnight. Borrowing costs shot up, and Greece spiraled toward default. Once Greece stumbled, investors looked at other vulnerable countries. Spain's housing bubble collapsed. Ireland's banks needed huge bailouts. Portugal and Italy faced massive deficits. This created a deadly loop. Governments were in debt. Banks owned that government debt. If governments defaulted, banks collapsed. If banks collapsed, governments had to bail them out with more debt. It was a financial doom spiral. Behind the numbers were real people. In Greece, unemployment hit 27%, with youth unemployment above 50%. In Spain, families lost their homes as the housing market imploded. In Ireland, emigration soared as young people left to find jobs abroad. Europe's dream currency was becoming a nightmare for millions. To stop total collapse, the EU, IMF, and ECB, the Troika, stepped in with massive bailouts. Greece alone received more than 240 billion euros in rescue funds. But bailouts came with austerity conditions, cutting pensions, slashing public salaries, selling state-owned companies. This kept countries afloat but caused huge social unrest. Many argued Europe was saving banks, not people. The crisis peaked in 2012 with fears of a Greek exit, Grexit. Then ECB President Mario Draghi made his famous promise: "We will do whatever it takes to save the euro." The ECB backed this with new programs to buy government bonds, which reassured markets. Slowly panic eased, and stability returned. The euro had survived barely. The Eurozone debt crisis exposed three big lessons. One currency, many economies is dangerous without a single fiscal policy. Imbalances grow. Debt transparency is critical. Hidden deficits destroy trust instantly. Austerity isn't a cure-all, it restores budgets but can devastate societies. The scars remain today. Greece's economy is still smaller than before the crisis, and trust in European institutions was badly shaken. The Eurozone debt crisis was a test of unity, discipline, and survival. Europe avoided collapse, but the fundamental question remains: next time a storm hits, will the euro be strong enough to withstand it? If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like, subscribe, and share this story of how Europe nearly fell apart.